Hey friends, how are you guys doing today? I hope you're doing so well, and welcome back to another thrifty video. Today we are doing my monthly what sold. It's hard to tell if I'm a part-time or full-time reseller, to be honest. I spend so much time working on YouTube and YouTube videos and social media, and then the other half of my job is reselling clothing online. And so I would say my numbers pretty much reflect a part-time reseller. That's kind of the amount of time I spend working on reselling. But I like to go every month and look at what I've sold in the month, what are my best sales, what are the things that sold for around $50 and more, and I like to share those pieces with you guys so that way if you guys see those same pieces while you're out and about across the country, you'll know if they're worth picking up for your personal business. So we have quite a few good sales here today. This is August 2025, and so we definitely are still part of the summer slowdown. Almost every year I see a dip in my sales in June, July, and August, and then September is usually when things start picking back up. People are back in school, and fall pieces, winter pieces are starting to sell as people finally get some cooler weather in their lives. And so I do think that September is going to be a really big turnaround month for a lot of resellers, but we're looking at the tail end of the summer today, which is August. With that being said, let's jump into some of the pieces that sold for the most money for me this past month. I would say in the past year, a lot of my sales have been topping $100, $200. In August, my highest sale was around $80, which is not typical for me. So I think that also is just a byproduct of that summer slowdown, but I was still able to pull out some good sales. So let's talk about those. This piece sold for $40. I'm gonna share some $40 sales with you guys today because simply this month I had quite a few lower price sales. And so I still wanna share some good bolos with you though. This first piece is this vintage Eddie Bauer canvas and leather braided strap large weekender tote duffel bag. It sold for $40. I paid $7 for this at a garage sale. So then from the platform, we make $32 after fees. And when you factor in my cost of goods, I made $25 on this sale. The next item that sold was this Lafayette 148 Manhattan wool plaid dress pants in brown size 8, and they retailed for $398, which is absolutely insane. Some of these brands that I like to find in thrift do retail for tons of money, and something you'll see across the board is just because a brand retails for a lot of money doesn't mean it's going to resell for a lot of money. So even though these retailed for $400, I paid $4 for them. I sold them for $40. So you can see that's 90% off of the retail price I sold them for, but I only paid 1% of the retail price for them. So very interesting to know. Lafayette 148, I do like to pick up this brand if I can find a nice fabric of a piece. Like this piece I think had wool in it. It said wool plaid. And so anything that has wool, silk, anything that's a more substantial piece, I'd still pick up from Lafayette 148, but it is a slow moving brand normally for me. But from that 40, again, we make $32, so this is another Poshmark sale. And then with my factored in cost of goods, I made $28 on this piece. Next up, we have a pair of Doc Martens. I love selling Doc Martens. These are the Shoreditch black leather greasy 8-eye lace-up boots in a women's size 6. Again, sold for $40, we made $32, and I didn't have my cost of goods on this one, but I'm assuming I probably got them at a local Goodwill, so probably around $7 into these. If not that, then I got them in the bins, and that would have been even a lower cost of goods, but we're gonna factor that I made at least around $25 on those as well. But then before we jump into the next sale, as we get closer to $50 and up, I do wanna take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Vendoo. Vendoo, if you guys haven't heard me talk about them, Vendoo is a cross-listing software. Instead of just being on one platform and listing just on eBay or just on Depop or just on Poshmark, with Vendoo, you can list directly into Vendoo, and then with just a couple clicks of a button for the things that are different about each site, you can list on multiple different reselling platforms all within just a few minutes. So this has completely changed the way I resell. I don't just focus on one platform anymore. I pick up things that could sell on any platform, and there are so many different buyers in so many different places that are using different platforms that if you list on multiple websites and multiple platforms, then you're more likely to be able to sell your item more quickly. And I've seen such a huge change in my reselling since I started doing this. And since I started using Vendoo, I've been able to make so many more sales. And I also have really diversified where I can sell on. Even in like the summer slowdown, I've been doing pretty well because I'm also cross-listing to all these different places. So I actually had 3 different Depop sales this month, and Depop, I used to never sell on that. But even just with one of those Depop sales, I paid for my Vendoo subscription. So definitely is a worthwhile investment if you're looking at really trying to build your business, Vendoo is a great way to do that. And I love working with them. They're such a constant supporter of my channel. So thank you again to Vendoo for working with me on today's video. But let's jump back into the next piece. And the next piece is this Albion Fit Breezy Stripe Bikini set in a size medium. This is another garage sale pickup. I picked up both pieces in this set for $5 at a garage sale. And this was not listed very long before it sold. So I paid $5 for this. It sold for $45 and then we made $36. So $31 of net profit. And then the next piece is this J. Crew Giselle sweater blazer in a size large. It was a knit piece with gold buttons and it was a classic wool jacket. This is such a gorgeous piece. I had this listed, I think, for like $90, and then I ran a 50% off sale on my closet, and somebody snatched this up during it, which I don't blame them. I paid $4 for this piece at Goodwill. It sold for $45, and we made $36, so $32 of net profit. This is such a cute piece. So this is the exact style I'm kind of more looking for in this season. I'm looking for really classic, timeless pieces with great fabric contents. So that's kind of like the way I'm moving with my reselling business. I'm trying to move more and more towards these like quiet luxury and classic pieces. Even though I will pick up anything, that is a style that I feel like will be on trend, will be something that people are looking for years to come. So then we have this New Tags Talbots Peter Pan collar silk cardigan blazer jacket in cream, size large. This is brand new. I paid $4 for this at a garage sale. So I have a lot of garage sale pickups actually in this. And then it resold for $47. We made $39.34. I think this is an eBay sale then. And then we made about $35 of net profit. And then another garage sale piece from that same garage sale, both of these Talbots pieces sold to different people in different parts of the month. But it was a New Tags Talbots 100% merino wool purple knit blazer jacket in a size large petite. And this was originally $128. I bought it for $4 and resold it for $50. So from $50, make $47.08 on that piece. That is another great eBay sale. And then this is a piece I picked up at an estate sale. So I really have been getting a lot of really good garage and estate sale pickups lately. This is the same estate sale where I found that Valentino designer suit and that really cool like wool belted jacket I talked about in another What Sold video 1 or 2 ago that sold for like $200. I found this vintage Adirondack 100% wool hand knit Dragon's Shield Nordic sweater, men's medium. Really hard to explain this sweater, but it looks so cool. I hope you can tell from the pictures how cool it was. I paid maybe $2 for this. The clothing at this estate sale, they were all really reasonably priced. I paid $2. It sold for $55.24, and then we made $43.33. So that was also a great pickup. $40, $41 of net profit. And I love finding these hand knit pieces, anything Adirondack, anything that's like an Irish knit wool sweater. All of those do really well, and they're really great for this fall and winter season that we're heading into. Then we have Jeffrey Campbell Mariel wedge sandals in black suede heels. They're size 7. These I contemplated if when I went to list these, I was like, are these gonna sell? Like, is this a weird pickup? And so I listed them based on comps and they sold really quickly, which I was kind of surprised by. But I paid $5 for these at Goodwill and they sold for $55.24 on eBay. And I made $46.03, so $41 of net profit. And I was really surprised by that sale. Are you surprised by that? I don't know. Sometimes Jeffrey Campbell shoes just don't sell very quickly or for very much money. And so I'm kind of surprised that those did. But I do always have really good shoe sales on eBay. And so that part doesn't surprise me as much. I really do find that I have especially in the international market, I sell a lot of my shoes that are like really expensive to an international buyer. Something just to know, and that's why I also recommend doing something like Vendoo, especially if you have some really high-end pieces, like putting them on multiple sites is super helpful for you. And here's another example of how something like that works. This piece I bought in the bins, in the Goodwill outlet, and I was for sure that this was gonna sell on Depop, but instead it sold on Poshmark. But I would not have listed it on Poshmark. I would have put it on Depop and it probably would still be sitting, but it's this vintage Wilson's leather Maxima crochet patchwork leather halter top in a size large. Super cool piece. Found in the Goodwill outlet. I paid $1.50 for this. It resold on Poshmark for $60. So from 60, we make 48, and with my cost of goods factored in, right around $46.50, which I feel like is such an exciting sale. I love it when I find something for extremely cheap and then it sells for over $50 from the bins. That's always my favorite. And then we have another garage sale pickup, this Kate Spade, this leather, pastel pink, pebbled leather tote. It was really cute. This is actually still on its way to the buyer, so hopefully there's no issues with it. I paid $10 for it, and then it sold on Poshmark for $68. From $68, make $54.40, so $44 of net profit. And I love finding bags, especially at garage sales, bags. I love finding shoes, but especially the bags at my Goodwills around me get marked up so much. Like, they usually have them like authenticated and then behind the counter, so I never find amazing bags, it feels like. Only once in a blue moon, and I go there a lot. But always excited to find a nice Kate Spade bag or something like that at a garage sale. And so that was a great sale. Then we have two more pieces. This one is a New At Tags vintage longline red suede leather trench coat, size 12. The crazy thing about this piece is this is from the bins, and I almost regretted picking this up. I was like, who's gonna buy this? Am I going crazy? But instead, it actually sold pretty quickly. Like, I listed it, and then I got an offer on this. I paid $1.50 for this in the Goodwill outlet. It goes by the weight, not by the item there. And it sold on eBay, I believe, for $70. So a $70, I love finding leather in the bins. A lot of people leave leather behind, but if it's in great condition, I will always pick it up because it always sells for me for like $50 or above. So even this is a red leather trench coat. It was super interesting, really unique design for sure. But from $70, we made $59.02. So $58-ish of profit. And that was a really quick turnaround on that sale. And then the very last thing I picked up is something that I took a chance on. It was this Patagonia coat that I picked up not too long ago. It was a girl's coat, so it's not even an adult size. And this was my biggest sale of the month. But Patagonia girls down coat in a size medium. It was this purple puffer parka. Say that 12 times fast. It was a long hooded coat. It was marked up at the thrift store. I did pay around $10 for this, but then I resold it on eBay for $79.04. So I was running like a sale or promotion on my closet, and so some of these numbers are a little strange, but it sold for $79.04 within the first week of me listing it, and then we made $68.78 after the fees, so $58 of net profit after you factor in my cost of goods, which, I mean, I'm happy with that. But I also picked that up not knowing if it was worth it because there were some marks on the front, so I thought it might be stained. Y'all, all I did was do a little bit of shout on it, threw it through the wash, came back out, and it looked great. In the store, it can always look like things are stained beyond repair, and then I often find that people just didn't wash it, or if they washed it, they didn't wash it well. And so I took a chance on that stained piece, and it turned out to be my best sale of August, so that's great. But as I'm looking too at what's rolling through, as I'm filming this, there's just been a few days of September, and I have sold so much more in September than I did in the first half of August. So I feel like this is gonna be a great month that we're heading into. Let me know how your guys' August was for you. Was it feeling kind of slow because of the seasons? Did you do really well? Is that surprising to you? Or let me know what kind of pieces you guys were selling. What was your favorite sale or the biggest sale that you had? I think that's always exciting to share. I love learning from you guys, and I love when everybody can go to the comments and learn from each other. I think that's super helpful. But again, thank you to Vendoo for working with me on today's video. And if you guys want to check them out, then make sure you use my link down below because that will get you 25% off of your first month whenever you use them. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And until the next video, bye.